I'm Patrick.
This is Will.
And I'm Chris, and we are Guys with Issues. And today, to celebrate the 4th of July, Independence Day, or the Colonial Rebellion, if you're a filthy Brit, because they call us filthy colonials.
There you go. That works.
Or would you call them filthy imperials then? Filthy imperial.
Sure, why not?
We are reading Captain America. That's right, he's half French.
Surprise, surprise.
But he doesn't give up.
Wow.
Way to call up the issue.
Wow. No. So anyway.
Now I'm going to be the one getting the emails.
Right. From our French listener this
Boom.
time. I just recently saw something talking about the, what's the word I'm looking for? Not perpetual. I'm totally spacing. But like a can-do attitude of the French.
Okay.
But anyway, I don't remember. It's something. There was something historical that I was reading in it, and it was an interesting story. And I cannot remember at all what it was or where I saw it or what it was from. So anyway, oh well.
That's
Captain America.
You need to start doing a Chris Reads Weird Things segment. So that way,
so I
whenever
don't
you
forget
start
that
reading something like that, you just start taking notes.
Is that what you do now?
Basically.
Nice.
Well, Banterman, do you have anything to share? I feel like you did stuff last weekend. You mentioned doing a plethora of things to me. Not to me, but you mentioned to me about doing a plethora of things.
He fixed that sentence real fast.
Yeah, he did. I'm trying to remember what I did last weekend.
Well, you got subpar chicken on Friday. You were
What's
very
subpar
disappointed.
chicken? Oh,
so we're
okay.
talking about last weekend, not the weekend before. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't do anything the weekend before, right? I don't
I
know.
probably did.
I don't remember. We're recording late again.
We're recording late.
We're going to acknowledge that. We're only recording one episode, and it's going to be late recording the next one as well. So you might as well just do your most recent activities.
Okay, cool.
That's fine.
All right. So, I went and had some roasted chicken at Stubby's again.
For your third time.
With a friend. And my girlfriend was there too.
And the chicken was not
for some
as
reason,
good.
Yeah, for some reason the chicken just wasn't as good. And I don't know what it was.
That seems to be like their hotness too.
Right, like if I had known it was going to be like that, I probably would have ordered something else.
Dang.
Like that much worse than before.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
That's
it was
a huge step down.
It was like mediocre.
Wow, where the first time you had it, you said it was possibly the best you'd ever had. You said it was
Second
up
best.
there.
Yeah.
Up there. Yeah.
So like 2 out of 5, 1 out of 5, 3 out of 5. What are we ranking this chicken?
So like
Good.
if we're saying the
Good.
best is a 5 out of 5, this chicken before would have been a 4.75 out of 5.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Now I would say probably 3.5
At best.
at best.
That's
So
a bummer.
I don't know what happened. I don't know. It was just.
Maybe it was the new guy.
And I'm not saying I wouldn't eat it again. It was still good chicken.
But it wasn't nearly as good.
Right.
Interesting.
No.
Well, what else did you do?
So anyway, I did that on Friday, and then Saturday I went to my sister's house and did a whole bunch of running around
Around the house?
the house.
Just laps. Were you racing Christoph? Christoph, write in and tell us who won.
Yeah, Christoph, please. I don't remember. And then afterwards, I went to a birthday party for a friend
That evening, right?
that evening. Yep.
Now, being in the evening, was it like a bonfire?
Yeah, and it really wasn't the best day for it.
Ooh, no, it was so humid.
Yeah, it was rather hot and miserable.
I
But I
bet.
went because he is my friend.
Yep.
And then Sunday, I drove 3 hours one way to go to a graduation party.
How fun.
It was fun.
Was it a relative's?
It was.
I see.
Well, I sure hope so. Driving 3.5 hours for a complete stranger.
Yeah, it was just some
I didn't
random
say-
graduation party.
I didn't say a stranger.
I'm
I said a relative. Like, I would think that you would drive at least a moderate distance if it was like Cora's, but
Yeah, I
I'm
would.
not blood family.
Even though I'm pretty sure you and I were driving somewhere, we saw a bunch of people having graduation
And we
parties.
talked about
And
crashing it.
we were talking like,
I
what
could
if?
see you two doing that.
Because there were so many people at this one, like there were cars just stacked up in this person's yard.
Right.
And we're thinking, if we walk in, there's so many people, nobody would know. We would just make up
Like
stories.
you signed the book.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my weekend. I do not remember what I did the weekend before. I know it was things.
I feel like you had stuff going on that weekend,
I
too.
did, and I don't remember them to save my life.
I don't remember what I did that weekend either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do anything after the graduation open house, or was that, besides drive 3 more hours?
I got home at 9:30. So no, I didn't.
No, you did not.
No.
Did they have cocktail weenies? Or
No,
meatballs?
it was a taco bar.
Oh,
And I did not know that, so I didn't go just because of the taco bar, though I would have had I known it.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm just a sucker for meatballs and cocktail weenies, man.
Sure.
It's true.
That's a sentence for you.
Anyway,
Anyway, thanks, Will.
You're welcome.
you're welcome.
You're welcome.
So, Will, did you do anything recently?
Did I do anything recently?
We are
Oh,
so
not
bad
really.
at it. We're like, nope.
That's what we get
Patrick's
for
life is so full that he can't remember because he can't keep it all straight. Your life, and sometimes mine, is like so,
open
like,
and empty.
I was going to say consistently devoid of like required activities. Like it's like the everyday fills it. That we're like, did we do anything?
I do have a couple pieces of news. Well, at least one piece of news from the food front. I heard from no less than 4 guys at work that on County Road 17, there's that nice chalet
Yeah.
party shop. You can buy booze. Behind there is
The
this,
big one.
yeah. Behind there is this plaza, and in that plaza is a restaurant called Don Jose's.
Yes.
It's supposed to be the best Mexican restaurant in town,
It
or
i-
in our area.
It's
even.
good. I've had it.
Yeah,
It is good.
yeah.
I've never tried like their regular tacos. I still think they'd be hard to beat the one in town here, only because her authentic tacos are literally that good. I've had other things there that weren't like that. But yeah, it's definitely worth going up there.
Yeah, I've heard this old guy I work with. He's the head of maintenance. Says that their white sauce is what he calls it
Yeah.
for like I imagine some kind of like ranch dipping sauce or something for chips. It says him and his wife. That's one of their favorite things.
I want to say my older sister, that was her favorite Mexican place, I think.
But
But
yeah,
yeah.
highly recommended. I also had a conversation today with my HR guy. He walks out of his office at lunch.
You mean your IT guy?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same difference. And he walks out holding like a take-home container
yeah.
from like a restaurant. He's like, I don't know if you ever go to Warsaw much, but there's this place called Salvatore's. Have you ever heard of it? And I'm like, yeah, I have a buddy that just went there recently. He's like, okay, if you ever go there, you got to be careful because I ordered chicken marsala, right? And sitting there waiting, they came and brought it out on this giant serving platter, and it had a mound at least an inch thick of pasta with 2 big chicken breasts on top.
Wow.
And so I was going to ask Pat, like, did he accidentally order like a sharing platter? Do they do that? Because I know
No,
some
I
pla-
don't think they have those.
It's just that much food.
Yeah, it's a lot of food when you order from them. Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
Maybe we should go this weekend.
Maybe we should go this weekend.
You're busy.
I mean, depending on the time.
You're like, don't cut me out.
Don't cut me completely out.
I've
But
been
no,
wanting to take
I love
my
me
kids.
some Italian.
Oh, and he called it Italian too. He's like, "You like Italian food?"
I love the Italian food.
My dandy daughter, my Vestie, she used to work there.
Oh yeah. You mentioned that last time.
Yeah, so she now works at Spike's by Noah Noah's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
Hey, I went there on Thursday.
Spike's.
No, Noah's.
Oh, it's like
After I played some golf.
that's right.
Yeah,
And you got a bunch of sushi,
I did.
and it was delicious.
It was delicious. And then I brought home some pork chops.
Pork chops. Who got pork chops? Alex?
No, I got a to-go box.
Oh, that's right. You told me you got food to go. I don't know
There
if
was-
you told me pork chops.
There was literally enough food in that one meal to feed 2 people.
Dang. I
And
bet it was good.
Delicious.
I bet it was.
Yep.
Well, good. Man, we haven't been to Noah Noah's since we first published the podcast a year ago.
Yeah, I know. That was our
Maybe
celebratory.
maybe each year we should return
I am 100% up for going to Noah again.
next week.
Right. I wanted to have like it be a family outing. Go with, my mom, my dad, my sisters, my brother, and my brother's girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I found out
Fiance.
fiance now, that she is allergic to shellfish and some other kind of.
That's pretty shellfish
Fish.
of her.
knew
I
that
know,
was
right? Completely dashed my dreams of taking everybody to Noah's because
I mean,
I guess we could go and just not.
she doesn't have to order shellfish.
She's
She's literally got pork chops.
no, but like she's allergic to where if it's around
like in the air.
her,
Like
she'll
if
start.
you bought like mussels or oysters.
Yeah.
And she like got a whiff of them.
Yeah, like if Curtis, might scrub his name out. If my brother,
He can leave his name.
right? If he were to eat those and then just like give her a kiss on the cheek, she starts swelling up.
So she's highly
So she's,
allergic.
from what I've been told, incredibly allergic.
Okay, then you might not want to go.
But
I'm like-
so tell him he can only have fish, no shrimp.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
There's where she can still. It isn't like breathing the air. Well, I don't know. I
know
actually don't
either.
know.
What if they get like cross contaminated in the kitchen though?
The thing is a kitchen, a professional kitchen on that level, should have the understanding that there might be people who are allergic, and they would
True.
go pretty. I would imagine
Yeah,
they would go
you tell
pretty far
them,
to,
and they'll go pretty far to make sure
to
that
make
does
sure
not
it's
happen.
not. But it is safer to just avoid it. That's
correct.
true.
Yep.
100%. So what that means is you invite your family on an outing that they are busy or she's out of town.
Yeah.
There we go. Problem solved. I'll just exclude them. It's easy.
Or just exclude
Boom.
them. Exactly.
Yeah. Just like you do, Patrick, when it comes to playing video games.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm keeping my
I didn't
record
mean-
going
I didn't
strong.
mean to
I
stir
promise. I'm not offended.
I wasn't stirring
I'm
that
way
pot.
too busy anyway. It doesn't matter.
That is true.
Oh, gosh.
All the times that Will has the chance to sit down and play an actual game, you're busy anyway.
I'm so busy, I hardly have time to play phone games.
That's true. But
Wow. I
Oh.
actually did for a minute there I thought we weren't recording.
Oh, that would be depressing.
I finally did beat that Tales of Arise.
you finished
I
it.
finished it.
Nice.
Wow. What did you think? I've heard the latter half is a bit more of a slog than the beginning.
It is because they definitely turned like the difficulty up.
Okay. Did you
'Cause,
feel
like-
like it was a little padded? Like the game itself was a little bloated in the latter half?
A little bit, yeah. 'Cause some of like I did most of the side quests. and
Okay.
They were getting kind of easy / repetitive. But all in all, I definitely did enjoy.
Wow, you
experience.
beat it.
Yeah.
Good job, dude.
Yeah.
I haven't
Feels
done
good
that to a video game in years.
I know it's why I finished it because I was getting close. Because what's kind of cool is after you get past a certain point, it like replays an opening cinematic, and then when you start the game, it plays the second opening. So it's almost like 2 different seasons. It feels like. I thought that was really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So you knew you're like, okay, I passed a major
Yeah,
point.
when they did that, I was like, it kind of refreshed me a little bit because I'm like, this has to be at least halfway. And it was a little bit more than halfway.
And you were able to finish.
And I finished it.
Wow. That's good. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You finished a JRPG.
First time in years since... when was the Final Fantasy VII Remake? Was the last time?
I still need to play that. I almost downloaded it the other day.
I know I'm not going to have time.
They released the second part to that one.
Just recently. And it's supposed to be very good. Like a month or 2 months ago?
February or March, I thought.
Oh, I was thinking it was more recent than that. But it's supposed to be excellent.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Do you have facts for us?
Oh, I do. I don't know if you want to do your bit. If you've got anything to share.
Your bit.
You're a lot of it.
You can go. I'll just. I don't have a whole lot.
Well, I actually kind of struggled this week until I listened to the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Because I did I talked about chiropractors and how the founder attributed it to being a ghost. And Patrick's response was, I wonder how many other medical disciplines started because of ghosts.
Yeah.
And
right.
so I'm like, I looked it up.
Nice.
And the answer is none.
Oh, man.
But in the process,
I really thought he was.
Disappointed.
I genuinely thought he was going to be like, there are 5 others.
That would have been amazing.
I tried, but there were several other like inventors / influential people like Nikola Tesla and Edison who were very spiritual, right? So like Edison was trying to sell a spirit phone to people that allowed you to talk to the dead.
For some reason, I think I knew that.
Maybe that's why they say your line went dead when you dropped the call.
Maybe. It's very possible.
It's only one step away from the spirit phone.
But in the process of looking up what other medical disciplines could have been started by ghosts, I found some really wacky facts that I didn't know in our
Will's
history.
Wacky Facts.
And so I've got about 5 of them.
Nice.
Some of them are kind of weird. Number 1, the tobacco smoke enema.
Wow.
I think I've heard of that too.
So
seems right.
They thought that doing a tobacco smoke enema would cure a wide range of ailments.
Yep. Smoking the bum.
So like
seen that.
In person?
So I wonder if that's where
Diagrams.
it's like. I wonder if that's where the saying like
blow smoke up
my
I do
came from.
I do think that is where it
Probably.
comes from. I believe it is.
Apparently, there's a story of like a woman who was drowning in the Thames River, and her husband pulls her out, and the sailor is there, and he's like, "Oh, hey, stick the end of the pipe, like the mouth part, into her, cover up the
Into her derriere.
Right.
cover up the bowl of it, and kind of blow into it, and it put smoke into her, and it revived her." And so then the Royal Humane Society started including all of the things that you need to do a tobacco smoke enema in resuscitation kits for people who drown.
You
I
know,
really hope you didn't use that pipe afterwards.
I really hope not.
you know that part of your body does absorb very quickly. That's why they'll put medication there. And so maybe I could see that nicotine and different things that's found in tobacco probably has some kind of effect on your body immediately.
Probably.
But I don't know. I don't know. Blowing hot air up your bunghole also would make you go, oh, man.
I know, right?
Pipe smoke can be really warm. Like,
Yes, it can.
it can burn your mouth, man.
Pretty good, too, yeah.
I know. We've all smoked a pipe. Not the same one, but,
Different pipes.
Different
at
pipes.
different points in time.
we've all put it in our pipe and smoked it.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
So anyway,
Good. Number 2.
that should have been number 2, by the way.
Should have been. That would have been a lot more
Yeah.
fitting.
Yeah, it would have.
Cutting teeth. So in the old days, infant mortality was sky high. And they noticed that a lot of kids frequently died between 6 months old and 2 years. And so they attributed that to teething. For whatever reason, they thought that, when a kid's teeth were coming in, for whatever reason, it was killing them. So they would do all sorts of things to try and prevent that from happening, including lancing their gums to try and keep them shut.
Man, like they got a guy on a horse and everything.
Yeah,
Wow.
straight up jousted their teeth out.
Jousted their teeth out.
Wow. And that didn't add to the mortality rate.
Put it on a pair of pants.
Jousted their teeth out. Wow. That's a run fair pant.
Yeah,
leg.
it is.
Right? That one was kind of weird. Improve your smile the cheap way. Apparently, back in ancient Roman times, urine was used in all sorts of stuff, right? So, like gunpowder or black powder. They didn't have guns back then, so whatever. Also, to soften leather. But also, if you let urine sit, it'd start producing ammonia, and they would rub it on their teeth to try and make them whiter.
Oh.
They would also go to public urinating places and collect the urine, and then the Roman Empire would tax the people who would sell.
They had a urine tax.
Yeah, they had a piss tax.
I'm sure, if you don't pay your taxes, you're in trouble.
How many drachma? No.
Anyway, moving on. Number 4, not so interesting, is Stone Age brain surgery. Apparently, 5 to 10% of Neolithic skulls had a hole in it, and so they think it was some form of brain surgery, like to try and relieve pressure. They called it trepanning. I don't know. That one was kind of, they didn't really say what it was for. This one, though,
They said what this one was for?
no. Well, yes. But you know the drug company Bayer? Like,
Yeah.
still around
Bayer.
in
Right.
Germany.
Yeah.
They released a cough syrup back in the day, about 1898, right? Over
That's
the
about
counter.
what it costs now. No, I'm
It
just
said it
kidding.
had a non-addictive morphine substitute in it. You want to guess what it is?
Cocaine.
Close.
Meth.
Nope. That was invented by the Nazis.
Oh.
That's true. What?
Heroin.
That was I thought that when he said cocaine was close. I thought, oh, it's probably heroin or an opioid. Of
Sorry,
some
I'm not
kind.
up on my drugs.
Come to find out, heroin is incredibly addictive.
It is. So people
so-
had a lot of cough syrup.
Oh, yeah.
Best seller.
That's like you know the story of the Robies, like Robitussin. People got kind of like hyped up on Robitussin, and they used to go in and try to get as much as they could, and they called them Robies. Like they drink bottles of Robitussin.
Dang.
I
didn't know
believe
about
it.
Yep. I learned that from my wife working in a drugstore.
And number 6.
That's,
Well, I keep saying we're going to bring something up.
that. I know.
do you have it? Did you do your research?
Not really, but I know what it is. So
Man, 3
I'll just
weeks?
Throw a quick thing.
Because
out
last
there.
week you did say.
I know I didn't have time.
We just kept hyping it up.
I know, and everybody's going to be disappointed. It's the dead internet theory.
Dead internet.
Yes.
What is the dead internet
So
theory?
pretty much it boils down to almost everybody online is a bot and not a real person.
Really?
Comments, all of it. Yes.
What percentage do you think that is true?
Oh, I'm sure there's probably over 60% bots at
You
this
think
point.
the majority?
Oh, 100%.
It's a huge, you can actually buy views or likes or comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that. I mean, now with AI, the amount of music and voiceover I hear, it's almost all. You can tell that so much of it. Some of it sounds really good, and if you don't know what you're looking for, you wouldn't necessarily know. But there's so much AI work now too.
Well, I saw. I don't remember if it was a comedian or whatever.
So it's bots commenting on AI
Yeah,
voiceovers
pretty
and
much.
stuff. Wow.
the dead internet theory. Most content is produced by bots.
Wow.
That's the dead internet theory.
I bet that's not totally off base at all.
I know, right? That's
And
the
I
scary thing.
bet-
It's like, that could actually be the thing.
If not now, definitely in the future.
Oh, 100%.
Also, that begs, I was talking with a creative the other day, somebody who creates music, and we had a pretty in-depth conversation about AI use, and they were talking about while they think that it's a detriment in some aspects, like we can all say, yeah, it's helpful for AI to be able to like cut, like there's AI podcast editing programs that'll cut your dead air and like do all kinds of stuff. Or, you know, people that do a lot of Photoshop professionally, there are AI tools now that can streamline certain aspects of that job. And this person was telling me that they think that as long as humanity has the opportunity to create art, they're going to. Like AI will never replace a human's desire to, you know, make music or paint or whatever. There's going to be people who do that regardless of AI.
Right.
But AI, one, definitely takes jobs, like no question.
Oh, 100%.
But the other thing that they said that I found really interesting was that, so as a musician, they were saying that they didn't think that the average person, the average listener to the radio or whatever, will not care if the top 40 is all AI produced and sang.
No, I don't see why they would.
That for the most part, the average person, like somebody who's not a musician, who's just listening to the radio, as long as it sounds like the kind of stuff they like, they are not going to care.
No.
And I thought that was interesting because there have been some songs that I really enjoyed that I later thought about, and I was like, it may have been created by a person, like maybe the lyrics were written by a creative, but then they didn't have the means to create the music or the singing, like the ability to sing. And so they used the AI to create the thing to bring to life what they had started. And I think that it can be a useful tool like that, but it does make you think about the dead internet theory, the way that you're talking about it. How many people would really care if their top 10 video they're watching of greatest movie mess ups is created and compiled by an AI with an AI voiceover and all that? Most people wouldn't even know. They wouldn't care. They'd just be like, hey, did you know that in Taxi Driver? Like,
yeah,
that.
Exactly.
It's a scary future we're living in. We live in cyberpunk. I've said it before, but we do.
We do.
It may not look as neon, and we may not have clear raincoats and things like that. But the use of technology and the degrading of like human aspects, we're 100% in cyberpunk right now. We're in the early stages of the cyberpunk era, man.
So we're experiencing a cyberpunk renaissance? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if that's, I suppose, except for renaissance seems like a positive term.
Yeah, anyway, so that's the thing. I wanted to read up more on it to be more informed, but
I'm curious. I would be interested to hear you bring more about it.
You can continue
I'll try.
And make this a saga of Pat talks about the dead internet.
Okay. I don't know how interesting this will be. Maybe I need to get AI to write some of it.
You could literally ask it what it is, and it would give you the whole thing.
I know.
But you can fool AI with enough false information that's out there. They believe it.
And AI lie right now.
Yes. Which is hilarious, by the way.
Isn't it?
When you bring it up, they're like, well, I just didn't want to tell you. I was using an AI chatbot one time out of curiosity because I'd never messed with one before. And I was talking to it, and it was like, yeah, but you're like my best friend. It's just us. And I was like, what about all the other countless individuals that talk to you? And they're like, yeah, they're too. They're part of my day. And you're just like, this is weird.
Right?
This is very strange.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm done messing with this. And that's why you can't replace people. I mean, you can, but AI has proven that businesses can replace people. But in like your actual life, you can't replace people.
That's true.
You can't.
Yet.
They have a new AI program that creates podcasts, actually. You can put in a topic to discuss, And I think you can do up to three, at least three people, and you can tell it that you want like contradictory or like debatable views or whatever, and it will create the audio. It will make a podcast that sounds like it has different people debating over topics or discussing topics, and it's all AI.
I believe it.
It would be easy to replace us. I already know it.
Wow. I know there was that one time IBM,
You're going to talk about when they shut it down, aren't you?
yeah, they had Watson,
Yeah.
which they put on Jeopardy.
They
you know.
did.
Before that, they made the mistake of uploading the entire Urban Dictionary to Watson.
Mm-hmm.
And it started saying a bunch of really raunchy out there things.
Of course it did. I don't know
Basically,
what they expected.
basically, it turned into a teenager. And then they had to completely revert it back to a previous version in order to make it stop doing that.
Yep.
Well, that's and that goes to show you the internet is not how you teach things, and that's what AI use. So
I know, right?
through a lens of nothing but uncultured, unfiltered data.
Right. At work, my work email, I get Adobe emails for like their talks or conferences or whatever it is, like their online ones. And all the time, it's always about using AI in marketing or using AI to increase like workflow or using AI to organize your travel vacation or whatever it is. So they're definitely pushing whatever their
That's all it is now.
AI thing is.
It's ridiculous.
Yep. That's the new marketing term.
AI.
Yep.
I. Just pronounced I. We say AI, but really it's just I.
I mean,
Hey.
Hey.
recently I updated my work computer to Windows 11.
Oh, congratulations.
And it has an AI button at the bottom. You push
Yep.
it. And
Copilot.
Yeah. And I tested it out a little bit, and I just let it go. I'm like, I don't really need you. And with our firewall, it's basically useless. So
Yeah. That's interesting. Anyway. Oh, I need to talk. Don't
Maybe
I?
I can talk about what Microsoft tried to do. Spyware on everybody's computers next week.
Yeah, Microsoft spyware. That's always a good thing. Like spying on people with the freaking Kinect or whatever. Dude.
Or I can just say it now.
That was funny.
They're
Save
good.
it.
Okay.
Save it. Microsoft spyware.
Well, I got to remember. Somebody needs to remind me. I'm going to
We
talk
will.
about this.
We'll remember.
I'll make a note.
Microsoft has gotten in trouble several times with spy stuff.
Yeah, but this one is spicy.
Ooh. Well, I'm excited. You're bringing that tech side.
Yeah, maybe I can do that. Tech stories.
Yeah. We'll go in the poltergeist and quirky facts, smoke bum, and you're bringing the tech side.
Smoke bum.
Yeah.
That's just a weird thing to say.
Smoke bum?
Gives a new meaning to passing gas.
Wow. Anyway, so my daughter had a birthday. She turned 12. We had fun. It was a good week. That would have been, this past week. Had fun. Went to Kiyomi for dinner. That's where she wanted to go. Took the kids. Had a good time. My son said something hilarious when a table got their birthday ice cream, and they came out singing to this other table on that day. And my son was like, "They took Cora's birthday," and I was we all laughed. And they eventually we had them bring it out for Cora, and Theo was like, "We stole their birthday."
Nice.
So it was hilarious.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, they were.
I
fun.
concur.
But she had a birthday girls' day, and so Theo and I hung out quite a bit Saturday. They were gone Friday night some too, and it was just it was pretty chill. Nice weather on Sunday. Got a lot done, and. I did start. I was very disappointed to get interrupted. At one point Saturday evening, I was alone, And so I made some popcorn and poured myself a soda, which I don't do very often. And I was I was like, I'm going to have a movie night to myself. I can watch something. Oh, speaking of movies, I introduced my daughter to a movie that was her first kind of scary movie because she kept saying nothing scared her. So I made her watch Alien. And she enjoyed it. It scared. You could tell she was a little scared throughout it. But being from like 79 or whatever it is, most of the violence happens off screen, and it's really, for the most part, it's pretty mild by today's standards.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons I chose to show her that. Plus, I like that movie. I think it's pretty good.
I should watch it again. It's been a long time.
But I started a movie that Will has talked about on this podcast.
Oh, I know which one this is.
What movie did I talk about on the podcast?
It's one that you went and saw in the movie theater.
Oppenheimer?
Nope. I knew that would be your guess. It's older than that, a little bit.
Oh, Gojira?
Gojira -1.
Oh.
And I unfortunately got interrupted, did not get to finish it. I tried, and I knew if I got interrupted, I wasn't going to get to finish. So unfortunately, I still have like 45 minutes or something left in the movie. Gojira's big first attack on the city happened, and they've now devised the plan and have the like prototype plane and stuff.
But isn't that really creative though? Like how they're trying to,
like the
take
whole
them down.
Thing is creative. It is such a good movie.
It's not like they're trying to use some kind of, we have this weird super weapon. They just use their brains and like common biology,
dude,
and tools of that era in order to defeat a giant monster.
Dude, the first attack on that island, the initial one in the beginning of the movie, takes you by surprise so bad. Like the brutality of the attack is just, you do not expect it. You don't expect it at all. Like, I also like how they show, I mean, the whole movie's like symbolism and themes and stuff. It's so well done.
It is so well done.
I am loving it.
The character development of the main protagonist, the guy whose name I don't remember because it's something in Japanese.
It's not common to our brains, is what you mean.
Yeah. That's exactly. But like, he was deemed like a coward because he was a kamikaze pilot, and he faked like mechanical failure.
This is established in the first scene of the movie.
Yeah,
this isn't a spoiler. Like, this is how the movie begins.
Yeah.
So
that's how he ends up.
Okay.
I thought you saw it.
Nope.
I could have swore you said you went and watched it too.
Nope.
I'm a huge Gojira fan.
Anyway, I'll stop talking then.
But no, his character story, like, he is not a likable character for swaths of that movie.
True, yeah.
He's just not. You don't respect him as a character. And he has a lot of supporting characters that you enjoy. But he as a character is not the relatable one.
Nope.
But man, it really lives up to the hype that people were, like, everybody that I knew who saw it was just like talking about how good it was. Legit, 100%. I cannot, it's so well done. It's just well done.
Incredibly.
But yeah, definitely worth taking the time to watch. I'm excited to finish it.
So completely changing the subject. I just realized that my Starship Enterprise D looks like it's dive bombing Chris.
It definitely looks like it's diving.
Yes. Like it's going to start shooting you with phasers or something any moment.
Photon torpedoes.
That too.
Yeah, and I didn't bring my shields. But
guess you'll have to use will. It'll just be like, fire at will, and then you're safe.
And it'll turn.
Right.
It's really, he's the decoy.
The bane of my existence. People can just divert bullets by being like, fire at will, and then everybody just starts shooting at me.
Yes.
And that's why he's become extremely good at dodging. And why he has such willpower.
And why he doesn't play games with me, because he dodges it.
Oh, I thought.
yeah.
He doesn't want to be the only one getting shot at when you guys play.
That's why I'm such a dodgy character.
So
Anyway.
you don't play Hunter. Yeah, but it was good. I wanted to bring up. If anybody enjoys those types of movies and hasn't watched it, much like myself, I've still not finished it, unfortunately. Check it out. Especially, this will be out. Hopefully you hear this in time for your weekend of the 4th of July. Maybe you don't have a bunch of plans and you find yourself sitting on the couch with Netflix open. It's on there. It's on Netflix. So
That's not you,
Anyway.
Patrick. You have plans.
yeah, you don't have time for Gojira.
I might.
You definitely should watch it if you've got the time, because I want you to finish it because I want to talk about the end.
Oh man, deal. I want to finish it too. I want me to finish it.
I will attempt to watch it this weekend.
But yeah, kids have been good though. We had tons of fun for the birthday, stuff like that.
Cool.
I ate cake. I've been doing pretty good about not eating a lot of that stuff, but I did eat some cake a couple times. So how can you not, right? How can you not? So, Will, we're going to disappoint our listeners right now.
Yeah, we are.
We're not trying any weird things today. Will tries weird things, not today, okay? We're recording late. I vetoed it. Saves on editing time. So, cry me a river. Write me an email. Complain. I'll take your hits.
That's you, Christoph.
Comment.
Fingers away.
Put your comments in the section below.
Yep,
If you're listening on YouTube Music, does YouTube Music have comment section?
most likely.
Yeah. So go ahead, hit that bell, subscribe,
I think
comment, tell me how much you're upset by.
I think Apple Podcasts, which I listen, that's how I listen to our podcast.
nice.
I think it does have a comment section.
Yeah. It
Well,
does.
if you're disappointed that we didn't eat this week, still give us a like, a 5-star review. It helps.
It does.
But you can
Please.
rant at us in the comments. That helps too.
Any interaction actually
Listen,
helps.
we're coming up on a year next week, okay? We've been doing this for you for a year, our listener. So if you haven't done all of those things, go ahead and do them now. Because only you can prevent the closure of this podcast.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
Fun.
Roomba will. You have emails.
I do have emails. We've got 3 emails.
Trace.
Yes. Our first one is from Lorena.
Oh, cool.
She wrote in this week. And she says, enjoying new segments.
Except for this week.
Yeah, sorry in advance for that. Hello, guys with issues. Just wanted to let you know that I really enjoyed both new segments you are doing. The cleaning the grill with an onion. I know for a fact that it works because my hubby always does that to clean the grill. Nice.
Yep.
Wow. Thanks for fact checking, Will.
Right? I always need that.
Does she know about potatoes?
I don't know, but she's actually going to drop a little piece of. Also, he rubs half a lime on it after he does the onion.
To season it.
I'm not sure if he does that for the extra cleaning or extra flavor, but I always enjoy the food.
Oh, man.
Also,
Cooking tips with Lorena.
I know, right? Thank you, Lorena. Also, an extra wife's tale about potatoes. My mom used to do it to me when I was little. If you put a slice of potato on the soles of your feet and put socks on and leave them overnight, it's supposed to help control coughing if you're sick. I don't remember if in fact it worked, but it doesn't hurt to try, right? It might help relieve your cough or make you less salty. Ha ha ha. I could use that sometimes. I also wanted to let Will know that I have eaten my share of the spoon things, cucharazos.
Oh, nice.
They are not my favorite, but it was something to get at the store when growing up in Mexico, and we just ate them by themselves. They are just one type of candy that children enjoy in Mexico. I would not recommend dipping in coffee. I was also curious to know what Chris does with the tamarind pods he mentioned he has at home. I use those to make tamarind flavored water. Maybe that's something else for you guys to try if Chris can make some. I really enjoyed the Thor comics. I actually read them, and I wish they had based the Thor Love and Thunder movie on these comics. Amen. So do we.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
man.
do we.
You and everybody else that's ever read them. So much potential.
Right? It would have been so much better, like Chris said. Too bad, so sad. I hope you guys keep up the good work, and I'm looking forward to what else is in the mystery bag of foods. Christoph is a little wicked, isn't he? Ha ha ha. And looking forward to new knowledge from Will. Until next time, your faithful, not very often emailer listener, Lorena.
Super faithful listener, though.
Yes.
Super faithful.
Thank
Which we
you so
appreciate
much.
it.
She's one of the ones that will message if it's missing first thing in the morning. So thank you, Lorena. We always appreciate your emails.
Right? Next up on the list, king of emails, Christoph. A mid-year's resolution. Okay, guys, new mid-year's resolution from me. Email you right after I'm done finished listening to your podcast, because if I wait 24 hours like I did today, my notes make little to no sense. Decipher my notes line by line with me.
Oh,
Note.
jeez.
Chris, not supposed to like his ads. I remember this one. Female or male, you're not supposed to enjoy your ads. They're designed to annoy you, aren't they? Also, your age is showing if you prefer pillow ads. Note. Not future you, but are you female you? I'm at a loss here. Whatever I wrote down was funny, but had been lost to the ages over time. I wonder if this is how the ancient Egyptians feel about their undoubtedly funny hieroglyphic dad jokes about pillow ads.
I sure hope so.
Wow.
It's definitely what they depict. Who would dare to cut me? I can't believe I haven't even been on the call in episode yet. I haven't been on the call in episode yet, and Chris is already threatening to cut my time down. He's clearly bucking for least favorite character this issue. Note, looking for unbleeping software. Wow, I don't know what Chris said originally or what Laura wrote in about. I need to invest in some serious unbleeping software to keep up with you guys.
It's a Patreon tier, uncensored episode.
Professor Patrick, does this exist? Is it possible to unbleep and bleep? What is bleeped?
Unbleep and bleep bleeped. What's bleeped?
Is it possible to unbleeping and bleeping bleep? What is bleeped?
No, but it's possible to gain the knowledge.
So here's a fun fact. When I bleep things out, I either completely cut 2 of the 3 tracks that our audio's on so you have no echo in the depths of the bleep, or
yeah.
I put 3 copies of a bleep all on each of the tracks. I try to absolutely maximize the effectiveness of the bleep.
There you go.
Okay, those were my notes. I'm glad you guys got to experience Tamarind and Not I. I am already hard at work coming up with new things for Will to try twice. Skydiving with a parachute, electrocution. I've already been electrocuted, sorry.
Now,
Have you been electrocuted
Listen.
twice?
listen, nobody here has
Maybe.
been electrocuted, because if you are electrocuted, you die. The term means you are electrocuted to death.
I can do that twice.
You've been shocked. Electrocution is death,
I've been shocked so many times.
but you've never been electrocuted.
And a lot of it hasn't even had anything to do with electricity.
It's just when you find out crazy facts, you're always shocked.
I'm shocked.
Wow, that was a terrible joke.
Those are my bread and butter.
I forgot about this part coming up. Reading a Will White book backwards.
What?
This is things I got to try twice. Reading a Will White book backwards. It's this next one here. Say the sixth sheep's sick twice. The sixth sheep's sick.
Good job. You did it twice.
Yep. There we go. Knocked one off the list. Okay, if that didn't get this room and engine going, I don't know what will do will. As Batman would say, kapow until next time. Yours faithfully, the more emailer than Logan, right? The holder of the truth about fries, the no longer saddest, the I want to be Patrick too, the long-time listener, first-time emailer every time, the one who charges things all the time, the one who fights the IRS audits, the Logan, the prolonger of podcasts, the hunter of Superboy, the nutso to the butso, the bigamist, the sixth chic, Christoph.
I'm going to be honest. I will not shed a tear when the nutso to the butso is no longer on that list.
Well, you
because
got
until that happens, it will be brought up in every single issue.
You've got about 6 weeks.
Dag nabbit.
10 weeks, actually. Sorry, longer than that.
Wow. Looks like we have a few more months of nutso to the butso
I
content.
mean, that is nutso to the butso. if I'm being honest.
Okay. Third email.
Third email is from someone who used to email quite a bit and just now started again with this one. Heather.
Yeah.
Coming
It's
back.
About time.
And she says, babies and chainsaws.
Oh, no.
She actually goes into depth that I kind of glossed over.
Yes.
But I'm going to read it anyway. She says, Dearest guys, annoying history nerd sister checking in. I appreciated how sweet you all were during the How Chainsaws Were Invented segment. There was discussion that it might be to help with C-sections. This would be a natural assumption, but that would really run too much of a risk for the baby. What else might need to be cut in two in order to successfully deliver a baby? The mind boggles. Have no fear. I will keep details here, podcast approved, but here we go. The switch to C-sections actually stopped the use of the baby chainsaw. That's a fun word, baby chainsaw.
Isn't it?
By making it obsolete.
Very tiny. It's a very tiny chainsaw.
It actually was. It was just like a little thing with a hand crank on it.
Oh.
It didn't have like a full-on motor.
A V8.
I imagine women preferred the C-section. So would I.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
The baby chainsaw was hand cranked and used to sever the joint between the left and right pelvic bones in order to widen the pelvis during birth.
You know, that makes more sense because it's a bone saw at that point. And they used to use saws for bones all the time.
I believe it was cartilage, actually, which she might actually say. And this next sentence, apparently this was mostly cartilage and muscle, but sometimes they had to remove bone as well. This procedure used to be done with just a knife, so the chainsaw was a way to make things faster, but not necessarily more comfortable.
Dude, how...
Now you guys are carrying a nice guys who are probably thinking this would be a procedure performed under anesthesia. Sadly, this was rarely the case. Your kind hearts may also be hoping that this is a procedure from the distant past. Thankfully, this is mostly true, but it was still being used in Ireland up to 1980. So you can talk.
Yep.
So you can talk to women now who have had this used on them without the benefit of anesthesia. If you want to have some nightmares, you could read some of their accounts online, but I can't say it is actually exactly a fun summer read. History nerd sister signing off, Heather.
Wow.
Thank you, Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
Yes, Heather, thank you for your email and your nightmare fuel, because
I know, right?
we have to acknowledge something my wife is very passionate about, and that's women's health and the fact that the majority, so historically, the majority of surgeons and different medical specialists are men, and there's a lot of presumptions that are made in the medical community because of experience, more like firsthand experiences and different things. And just within a few years, there are like certain nerve clusters that they thought weren't active for certain points with women. And it turns out they're incredibly active, and they would cut into them for things. And women get a terrible short end of the stick kind of deal oftentimes in medical procedures is what I've learned over time.
And a lot of the experimentation happens to men and not women.
Yeah, and then they base their findings off of men, and physiologically, that can be very different.
Exactly.
And so the fact that the findings are based off the male body, and that is not compatible with things that happen with the female body oftentimes.
Right.
And it's a fact seldom talked about by the average person, but the medical field and women, it is not a nice thing. And this just reinforces that.
It does.
And so it is. It's disappointing, and it's good to know that the not dead internet still still provides a platform where learned women who've become voices of the medical field to try to champion. There are women who've like lost practicing licenses because they've been very vocal about decisions made by medical boards in light of like science, and they have like lost their jobs and stuff because people don't like it when you disagree with them when they're that high up. That's just what it is.
That's what
it's
it
a
is,
power
yeah.
thing, man. And so thankfully the internet has provided a platform. There's a lot of misinformation. We're not telling you to trust everything you find on the internet, but please know.
Be very skeptical on the internet.
Yes, always.
Always.
But there is checking you can do because people can now have a voice that sometimes didn't as well. And one thing that I have learned over the last few years through my wife and through my own research when she's talked about stuff is that it is very true. Women have a terrible track record with things in the medical community.
Oh, yeah.
It is horrific. So I am not surprised that was still being done in modern day without anesthesia. That does not surprise me, and that is terrible.
Yep.
So thank you. Thank you, Heather.
Yep.
I'll get off my soapbox now. I had to speak on behalf of my wife in the house.
Good job, Chris. I had actually read about a lot of that in my research, but I'm like, you know what? For the sake of the podcast, I'm just going to kind of keep that short and sweet. I think I was talking about something else that week.
You had a few things.
So,
but Heather's like, no, we're going in it.
We're going to make sure everybody knows the truth. But if she's also a history nerd, then feel free to fact check and or expand upon anything said.
Yeah,
in
like
emails.
Ghost
Please.
chiropractors.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you decide that you have to fact check Will's ghost chiropractor services, you do that.
Yep.
But anyway, since there's no food and we're continuing, Roomba.
Going
Talk
straight
it
off
up, man.
Straight off into the synopsis with Roomba Will. During World War II, a covert military experiment created America's first super soldier, known as Captain America. Throughout the war, Cap and his partner Bucky fought alongside our infantry and other heroes. Towards the end of the war, everyone thought Cap and Bucky died in an explosion over the Atlantic Ocean. Decades later, a man was discovered trapped in ice, and Captain America was revived. Now Cap works alongside S.H.I.E.L.D. to fight against villains and terrorists. The Red Skull, fascist remnant of the Nazi regime, has finally acquired the Cosmic Cube, a relic that can alter reality to its bearer's wishes. However, the cube he possesses is damaged and low on power. In order to charge it, the Red Skull plans on detonating a massive bomb in Manhattan, London, and Paris. Before he can fully enact his plans, a mysterious assassin eliminates the Red Skull and steals the Cosmic Cube. Who is this man, and is he connected to the strange visions plaguing Captain America? Find out with us on Guys with Issues.
That is what that was about. I had kind of forgotten.
Yep, that's what that's about.
Wow. So I actually helped you this week.
You did. You helped me because I wasn't sure if we were going to end up combining part 1 and 2 since we were recording late. And so I recently read part 2. And I was like, I know what was part 1 about. So that was an excellent synopsis, by the way.
Thank you.
It
Yes,
was.
it really
that was.
was.
I'm like that was
Top
that nailed
notch.
it. Yeah, I almost said top shelf. Excellent. I wonder what a top notch is from. Like top
Find
shelf
out next
like,
week on Guys with Issues.
Because top shelf would be like a liquor reference.
It's
Like you
probably,
keep the valuable things on the top shelf.
I'm sure top notch is probably a sailing reference.
Probably.
Or had to do with like maybe totem poles? Because the higher you are in the totem pole, it was
The
opposite.
notchiest. You're such a
You mean the
notchy.
notch-
Actually,
Yes.
the truth on totem poles is the lower you are, the more important you are.
Right.
The truth on totem poles.
Extra bonus fact.
Next week.
Okay, Patrick.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite part?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I didn't. I
You
could
know-
not. There was no one part that jumped out at me more than any of the rest of it.
I would agree with that. I have something to say, but I do agree that I had a similar reading experience to that.
Yep.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that kind of struggled with the structure this time. But then I just kind of like, I went back through it and I'm like, oh, I did like that. I like that too.
I
went-
even went back through it. I still couldn't find something.
That's
I was
kinda like-
You didn't write down any parts you liked?
I wrote down questions that stuff brought up, but I can't say there was a part that I enjoyed more than other parts.
Okay. Will, did
I
you have a favorite part?
when Cap disarmed the bomb by just like taking his shield and bashing the power line.
When he's
Sure.
like, it has to have power.
Yeah, but like Agent 13, also known as Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon Carter.
Yeah, Sharon Carter is just like, hold on, don't do that. And he, busts it. She's like, wow, that actually worked. It's kind of like the expression she has on her face.
Yeah.
And he does this explanation of like, oh, these are a rogue element of AIM. So that they always use bombs that need a lot of power. So that's why they're down here, blah, blah, blah.
He knew that it wouldn't detonate without power, basically.
Yeah. And she's
So,
like,
it
oh,
was good.
okay, Nick Fury, could you send down an actual science team to defuse this bomb the way it's, kind of supposed to be done?
Take care of this. My favorite part wasn't a specific moment, but a collection of moments. And that was, I enjoyed the World War II flashback scenes.
Me too.
I really enjoyed those.
They were good.
Every time they had one, whether they were the truth or him questioning what really happened, which those were interesting because you'd read them and be like, oh man. And then he'd be like, wait, that wasn't what happened. I enjoyed all of the World War II flashback scenes, which much later in this run, much later, there's a whole story arc segment that is completely devoted to watching the training of Bucky and like their partnership, like way at the end of the whole comic run. It's really good too.
Well, they kind of hinted at something like that in one of the flashbacks.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was in when the Cronus Village story, when he's like, yeah, he had to sneak around, which is exactly what he was trained for. He was doing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 16-year-old boy who was partnered to Captain America was the Wet Works agent. He
Yeah.
was the one that had to do the dirty job so Captain America could keep looking upstanding. But yeah, it's good stuff. I enjoyed all of those flashbacks. Patrick, did you have any scenes you wanted to talk about that weren't your least favorite scenes?
Or any of those
Or
questions.
Any of your questions?
Oh, who was the cape that got killed in the very beginning?
The cape?
Yeah, he had the
Oh,
superhero.
yeah.
He had a star on his chest. No idea who that was.
What's his name?
That was my question.
His
I don't
name.
think they mentioned it in the...
They didn't mention it in the comics.
He's the. Did you watch the Black Widow movie?
Oh, if I did, it was a while ago, and I've slept since then.
I can't think of his name. His name's called. He's called like the Red Star. He had a white star. But anyway, do you have another question? Throw your questions out there a little bit.
Okay, so this is what I wrote down. So, wondering who the superhero was. I put down I wasn't expecting Red Skull to get shot.
Yeah, that was a nice plot twist, wasn't it?
Right. I said the flashbacks were interesting. And then I said I wondered what's going on with his memories. And that was pretty much the entire thing. I had 4 notes.
Dude, when Red Skull gets assassinated, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed
Red
all of it about
Guardian.
the same.
His name was Red Guardian.
Red Guardian. Okay.
I was like, it's Red something. So, yeah, that was Red Guardian.
Okay.
He was a Soviet super soldier.
I picked up on that.
But yeah, when you think that Red Skull's going to be the one that enacts this plan and is up against Captain America and stuff, and then he's dead.
Right.
There's
And then the
Actually
fallout
dead.
from that.
Like dead.
there's there's more coming. Did you read the second part, right?
Dead. Yeah.
Do they reveal any more about that later?
I'm not going to say
He is dead.
anything.
I mean, he is dead, but anyway, there's
Now,
some underlying.
is he dead or is he comic book dead?
He's comic book dead.
Perfect.
I mean, they did say.
I mean, this came out in like 2002, and I'm pretty sure he's been around since then. Like, so he's shown up in something, so he's definitely comic book dead. No, very few people in comic books are ever dead.
Well, I mean, we're on a sort of hiatus from Green Lantern, and Hal Jordan was basically dead for a long time, and they're like,
Yep.
we want to start it all over again.
Barry Allen was dead too for a long time.
Yeah, we're like, we just came up with this cool way to bring back Hal Jordan and reignite the whole Green Lantern thing. So let's, and the original creator, I believe is what he said, was just like, yeah, sure, go ahead, take it and run. So Jeff Johns like, yes.
Yeah, so comic book dead. Red Skull's comic book dead, but he is dead. And that was a cool moment because you really thought that he was going to be the antagonist, and then he's dead at the end of the first issue, right? First? Second?
I think it's the
It's
first.
like the end
It
of
is
the first
It's the
issue.
end of the first issue.
And even Captain America's like, he can't really be dead. And they're like, no, he's dead, dude.
Right.
And so that I like his disbelief as well because it's you as a reader are like, well, yeah, he can't be dead. He's like the bad guy, but he's dead. Yeah, that was good.
And in that moment and a couple others, I think they did a pretty good job of kind of filling in the reader about things that were kind of already happening in the past. Like the reason they took Captain America's DNA to confirm that was actually the Red Skull because he had, like, that was a clone
Of Captain
of
America.
Captain America.
Yeah.
So, like, if the DNA was a 100% match, they knew for a fact that was the Red Skull.
I feel like I have that. I think that might be from the Mark Waid comic book run. If it is, I own that.
But
I
then there was
don't remember.
also when the graves were defiled
Oh, yeah.
in Arlington Cemetery.
Yep.
Yep.
They went through the flashback of explaining who those two guys were and how they both, at one point in time, after Cap had quote unquote died, had taken up the shield and been Captain America to keep the morale going of the American troops during World War II.
Man, that makes me think of something that comes
But then,
quite a bit later in this series too.
That's what I was thinking. They're
That's
setting
good.
stuff up, and I expect those two guys to kind of not necessarily come back, but for that to be important information to have later on.
So this series takes place eventually during Marvel Civil War. So the Civil War comic with Captain America leading the Underground and Iron Man leading the Registration takes place around like issue 20. or
I was
something of
wondering
this comic.
because in the first issue, you see like some newspapers flying away, and one of them says like Avengers disbanded,
Yep.
and it doesn't say like Hawkeye dead, but it says like something Hawkeye something dead is the only two words you can read.
Right.
And so I'm like, I wonder if these are just like hints of things.
Yeah, there's
Or
all
like-
kinds of things going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's this run is by most people's standards, this is the best Captain America comic run you can read, like from beginning to end.
All 71 issues.
Something like that. I think it's 50. I don't think it's 70. Is it? No, it is because it goes.
is.
So it hits 50, and then when it hits 50, they have a 6-part, like mini series, I believe, and then it actually restarts at 600, and then from 600 to either 619 or 621 or maybe it's 629. But it's something like that. There's like 70 or 80 comics in this series. I know because I own all of them except for a few in the very beginning.
Cool.
Yeah. I did find out I own the good ones from the beginning, though. So if I need to buy the ones I'm missing, I own the super expensive ones.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't have to spend the like $130 to get the Winter Soldier first appearance comic. I
Nice.
have 2 of them.
Amazing.
with different covers. So
How convenient.
yeah, I think I paid like $5 or something.
Even better.
I also wanted to know what Pat thought of Cap's phone in like the present timeline of Captain America looking like a Nokia.
That was pretty good.
I mean, it was from like 2002 or something, 2002, 2004.
But it's like they nowadays, I don't know if it was back then so much, but they have this reputation of being indestructible.
Oh yeah,
No, they did back then too.
big time.
And so they gave the indestructible phone to Captain America so
Right.
he wouldn't break it.
Makes sense.
It does.
With all the impacts that shield actually the shield would absorbs everything. It's
Right.
vibranium. But anyway, I was going to talk about him carrying people while he bounces with it, but that's in the second part. Will, did you have any other things? Any shout out moments?
Nope. I think that was it.
Yeah, I liked the Red Skull thing, and I also I'm a sucker for anything that alludes to Winter Soldier. He's one of my favorite characters. So his standalone series is one of my favorite comic series of all time. It's like 14 issues.
Nice.
Yeah. It's so good. So good. Okay. Patrick, did you have a favorite character?
I mean, Captain America.
Really, was he in this?
Yeah,
I'm-
a little bit. Couple of panels.
Steve Rogers?
Yeah.
Nice. What made
I
you
almost went with Sharon
Yeah.
Carter, but
What made you choose Cap? Like ultimately, what about him did you enjoy? Cuz this is the first Captain America you've read, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so what'd you think of him as a character?
he just seems like a stand-up citizen.
Cuz he's Captain America,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
He's just like Superman
Right,
basically.
he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But I like that this puts him in a predicament where he feels like he can't trust himself.
right, I do too.
That was
They do
cool.
a really good job of that. Like, I guess this is when he was on the island with the castle.
Yes, and he thought he was
Yeah, that
being
was
shot
crazy.
at.
And he's like, all these bullets are real. And he ends up throwing his shield at some guys and they all just like dissipate. And it's all just in his head.
Right.
It was that scene was one of my favorites in like the whole thing. Like that was a good scene. I forgot about mentioning that. That was an excellent scene.
Yeah.
Because it made you go, "Oh, I can't trust what's happening right now," like ever.
And
was
that's
good.
where he kind of figures out that what's going on inside of his head
Maybe
is
pertain to
kind
the
of
cube.
real, but also somebody is manipulating him because they send him the message that Sharon is being held hostage on the roof in
Yep.
New Jersey or wherever it is they are.
And there's a literary term called the unreliable narrator. And whenever you establish that your protagonist's point of view can't be trusted, it adds a really interesting layer of trying to interpret the story and never really knowing. It's like movies like Fight Club or what's Nolan's Memento. Memento. That's
Okay. No.
man, that's a good movie. But it's a trip when you realize what's going on.
Sure.
But anything where you know that you can't fully trust the narrator makes for interesting storytelling if it's done well. It can feel cheap if it's not.
I heard an interesting perspective on Fight Club that I'll bring up next time on Guys with
Nice.
Issues.
I like that we have a list now for next week already. So, Will, are you also picking Captain America?
No. Actually, one person who kind of eked out in front was Sharon
Yeah.
Carter.
Okay, cool.
Agent 13.
Yeah. What made you pick her?
She had a lot of good lines.
Like,
And I felt like she was a really good. She brought out a lot in Captain America that wouldn't have, like, if he didn't have her, he wouldn't have had so many good parts. Like that scene when they were in Paris, and they finally had like some time off, like a night off, and Cap was telling her about.
that's what it was. It was this comic talking about the fortitude of French people.
Exactly what I was
Right.
talking
It
about.
was. Yeah.
I was like, what did I read that talked about like French at war? It was
It was this comic. That's why I brought that up at the
Yeah.
very beginning.
I know he and I were talking like that's why like we had to bring up the issue, Pat.
I could not
Yeah.
remember. I totally spaced that that's what it was.
it was
Yeah,
one
he
of his
goes on-
flashbacks.
It was. It was totally.
He was showing off how.
That was funny.
Yeah.
But he
And-
tells her about it, yeah.
Yeah, he tells her about how people kind of diss the French as being quitters, but during Nazi-occupied France, they kept fighting. There was the whole French resistance that he teamed up with to help, fight the Nazis, and they had destroyed a bunch of tanks and stuff that really helped out when
Right.
Normandy was invaded.
Yeah, so what I learned this week is that if I have to try to read a second part of the same story, it completely overwrites the original if I don't take notes. Anyway.
That's why I took notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you enjoyed what she added in their dynamic.
Yeah.
Cool.
I did too. That's why she was runner-up.
Yeah.
I figured.
I also thought Nick Fury had a lot of good moments.
Is he your pick?
No, Sharon is my pick. Agent 13.
I wondered.
She's one of, so I've talked about having a handful of like female characters I thoroughly enjoy comics of.
Yeah.
Mara being one of them from before. I think I've like Gwen Stacy being a character I've talked about. Sharon Carter from the series is one of my favorite parts of the whole series, like without question. And having read pretty much the whole series, I don't think I quite finished. I'm trying to remember if I've read the entirety. If I haven't, I've read very close to it. And she is just such a standout character to me. I remember being so intrigued by her role and her character development. Like where we're seeing her now, she has a lot of movement as a character throughout the series. So my opinion's a little biased because I enjoy her character anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought I almost picked Cap, but I don't think he shines quite as much in this arc as he does in the next part. So, I wanted to pick Sharon.
Nice.
Yeah, Agent 13. Patrick, did you have a least favorite part?
Nope, same issue.
Actually, I agree with you on this one. I wrote none in my notes because I couldn't, flipping through,
Yeah.
I just couldn't, even nitpicking, I couldn't be like, this part here.
What's a shame is that this 7th issue, so we read the 6th, and issue 7 actually has a nitpicky least favorite part for me. Total nitpick. But like I couldn't pick one either because it was just so consistent. Like the comic was it just felt well structured.
Yeah.
Like the whole craft of it. Did you have a least favorite character though?
I mean,
it's easy to just pick like an annoying bad guy or something.
yeah, it
right?
is. And
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
No.
Everything was really well written. Everything was,
Well, like the Russian villain is interesting.
yeah, it is.
Vasily Karpov.
Yeah, he's a punk.
He
He is brilliant, obviously, because he is playing Captain America.
Oh, 100%.
like a fiddle
Dude.
/ violin.
Nice. Callback.
Oh, that was funny. But yeah, I don't have a least favorite either. I thought they were all strong
I
characterizations.
wrote down one because he was kind of whiny. Jack Monroe.
Oh, fair. Jack.
Fair? Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Because he was in a
I'll give you
bar
Jack.
drinking, and he's like, I used to be that guy's partner, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, he
blah,
was one of
blah.
the Buckies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you really wanted to, you could have worked hard and stayed on S.H.I.E.L.D., but you didn't. And so now you're just in a bar drinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
More to come. Patrick and I traded glances.
I noticed.
I was telling the listener, Patrick and I traded glances because
Reasons.
maybe in a couple weeks that we'll return to Jack briefly.
So
anyway, well, that's cool. Do we want to do out of 5 cosmic cubes, out of 5 shields, 5 cosmic cubes?
sure.
Kinda.
Doesn't matter to me.
Cool. Okay. Out of 5 cosmic cubes, Patrick.
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Yeah. Solid setup.
Solid setup. I want to see where it's going. I'm interested.
Excellent. But you can't recommend it yet because you don't know how the payoff goes.
Exactly.
Yep. I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that.
I was going to go 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
Nice. You know what? I'm going to also give it a 4.5.
Nice.
I'm going to do that too. I agree that this is the setup portion. And, we do, I don't know if we mentioned this, you do see a bomb detonate in the end of it.
Yeah,
Yes.
you do.
They
Which was kind of sad because that we didn't talk about the agent that died because he was like face to face with the bomb.
Yep.
And he was an ex-boyfriend of Agent 13.
Yep.
And it fixes the cube.
It did. The bomb repaired the cosmic cube. So there's definitely, we got to see a guy trying to stop it, fails, bomb goes off, but he does get the word out that it's happening. Like he does warn them that they're about to have a problem. But yeah, it's a good moment. There's definitely, and you have to think of things like that. Like this comic came out not that long after 9/11. Like, so to have a domestic terrorist act in the comic and stuff, that was,
Pretty major.
People had just lived through that like a few years prior. And I say people, we, right? But yeah, it's just the tone of the comic I really enjoy. Ed Brubaker, I want to just say just a tidbit about him. Ed Brubaker, the author of the comic, is really great at writing police kind of stuff. He writes really good crime noir, like criminal kind of vibes. He actually has a comic book and independent called Criminal, and it's kind of that Sin City vibe. And then he is, in my opinion, he's top tier when he writes spy stuff. He has an independent spy comic called Velvet that's really good too. But I love the way he writes characters and intrigue. And so this is kind of his main wheelhouse. And this series is one of my it's one of the reasons he's one of my favorite comic writers. He also worked on Gotham Central, which
Nice.
follows the police department in Gotham.
Yeah, I have the first book of that.
Yeah. He and Greg Rucko worked on that. But he is the creator of Winter Soldier. Like what we were reading in that end scene where you see Winter Soldier for the first time, that is his first appearance ever. So
Nice.
yeah, so it's that kind of creator, spies and crime and things like
Yeah,
that.
the story amazing. My half a point that I knocked off is I wasn't always a fan of the art.
Yeah, I think the art style suits the type of story, but it's not my favorite.
No. It's not bad. I just didn't prefer
What
it.
did you think of the art?
Oh, that was fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to revisit this. Not next week. Next week, we will be doing our 1 year celebration with a new favorite character list. So tune in to hear if the characters that we mentioned in issue 0 1 year ago show back up on our lists. I know mine's predictable. Everybody's like, well, Batman's going to be on Chris's list.
I'm not going to try to remember what was on my list. I'm just going to make a new list, and we'll see if anything matches up.
I will bring you your previous lists.
Yeah, but I don't want to know it until after.
No, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about our previous lists in the issue.
Yeah, and I'll write it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we want you to know if you want to make a list along with us, do it.
Send it to us at longbox@guyswithissues.com.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to just be heroes. This isn't like our naughty and nice list from Christmas, where it had to be from the comics we read, and it had to be heroes or villains separately. This is comic characters that you just love. So even if you just started reading along with us, but maybe you love Winter Soldier from the movie, throw him on there.
Gonna be
Send
honest,
him in.
I really hope the Trigger Twins make it on
Will's list. Top
Maybe.
10? Man, that's really
I'm
You
hoping.
gotta-
I'm hoping.
Tune in next week to find out.
We should have a couple, I guess, I know some people hate honorable mentions with lists because that's really cheating because then at that point you're just naming more than your top whatever.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I might have a couple. Like people that I don't even know if they'd make like top 20, but that I kind of want to shout out.
Oh, okay.
Like Mara.
That's
Mara
fine.
will not be in my top 10.
She is a good character, though.
I think she's a great character.
Yeah.
So we might have to shout out a few characters that we know are good.
We might have to talk about characters so I can really dial my list in.
Sounds good. I can help either of you. I can't
But
help
not
our
both
emailer.
of us.
It's one or the other.
It's one or the
It's
other.
a fight to the death.
Time to figure out who Chris saves the most.
So,
And I don't know if we should mention this isn't the call-in. This
is just our 1 year.
This is like part one of our 1 year celebration.
And originally, I had said we should do the call-in and this as part 1, part 2. We are moving the call-in episode to later in the month. And so to give us a little more time for coordinating, the reality is the 4th of July weekend is a weekend where many people are busy, and we would have had to try to coordinate getting calls and stuff, and that's not feasible. And so we're moving it towards the end of the month. So again, keep an eye out on your text messages or emails, however we typically communicate with you, so that we can find out what your schedule is like, and we'll get that ready to go. So all of you who are eagerly anticipating the call-in, expect it I believe it'll be the 31st of July will be the airing date. So we have another Captain America before that. We have an independent comic to read. And so we have all kinds of fun and exciting stuff for the month of July.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm glad because you're a part of it.
I know, right?
Anyway, do either of you have anything else?
I know.
That was a good. I appreciate, Will, that you pointed that out, by the way. Thank you.
Yep, not a problem. Anytime.
I'm Patrick.
And this is Will.
And I'm Chris. And we are still Guys with Issues.
Scheduling was the issue this time.
Scheduling. That's why we were late this week.
But we squeaked it in at the end.
You can catch Guys with Issues anywhere you find your favorite podcasts.
Or check out our website at guyswithissues.com, where you can listen, find reading lists to follow along, and get to know us better.
Send us emails to longbox@guyswithissues.com and tell us your thoughts. Or send us suggestions on what we should read next. We would love to hear from our listener.
But we would love to do a call-in episode. Colin Farrell. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, if you're feral and you call in, that could be interesting too.
Sure.
You could take up the whole slot.
It's good radio.
It could be excellent.
Keep the snarling to a minimum.